our free group. And
All right. So we'll try again now that I'm not muted. No, it looks like everybody fell off the live. We are back. Allie, it says I'm muted, but I don't know that I'm muted, so let's look at that. Yes, KK, you have gone deaf. Yep. Start this one back over. All right. Well, at least we're not Netflix. At least we didn't have, I don't know how many millions of people they had on, but at least we didn't have all that much of a mess. All right. We are going to start again. Thank you, everybody, for coming back. Thank you for doing that. Yeah, Bobby, I didn't think I was muted. I think that's just Allie messing with me. You aren't now. Okay. All right. Looks like we're good. Looks like everything's good there. Let's try this one again.
All right, and then I see logged in under Kyle Burke. It looks like both Ms. Frisbee and Mr. Burke are there. Yeah. Is that right?
That's correct.
Okay. Okay, so this
we
is
are also having a witness on
you have
Zoom
a witness
as well.
with you? Okay.
Yes, I believe she is in holding at the moment.
Okay, so we'll get her admitted into the call. I'm just opening up my court file.
did you get a chance to see all the evidence?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, everything in the court file. It's
quite a lot.
Well,
it's also irrelevant.
Just get it opened up. Here we go. There. There. Okay, so what we're going to do is I will swear the parties in, and then Ms. Marquez, you get to go first. You get to tell me through your testimony, through your evidence and exhibits, and any witnesses you may have. I don't know if
I don't need any.
And then after I've heard from you, then it'll be the respondent's turn. Ms. Frisbee and Mr. Burke, same thing. They'll testify.
Their witness was supposed to be my witness.
I will hear from the witness when the time comes.
Fine.
But after I've heard from both sides, then I'll make a decision as to whether or not there will be a anti-harassment or protection order. Okay. During the time that the other party or anyone is testifying or talking, don't interrupt them, even if you think that they are telling me something that isn't true. All right. Keep in mind that you get to tell me your side of it, or you already have, and I'm expecting to hear different things from different people. It's normal. I may need to interrupt you to ask you questions to make sure I understand what you're telling me, and also to maybe redirect you towards making sure that we're staying focused on the things that are going to help me make a decision in your case. Okay, so can I have each of you raise your right hand, please? And do you each swear that the testimony that you give in this case will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes, Your Honor.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, Ms. Marquez, go ahead. And keep in mind that everything that you filed, I've already seen, and you're not required to repeat all of it. Yeah.
So I lived in the apartment before they have. I known their mom and his brother before they ever moved in. When they moved in, we had posted like things up on our free group, and we gave it to them, so we never had a problem with them when they moved in. And then one day Kyle just started like giving us problems, and then the wife followed after. We never had a problem with them. We gave them whatever they needed for their new baby that came then. And then like the harassments just kept getting worse. So I had talked to my property manager. So she advised us that it's a civil matter to just call the police. So that's all I kept doing was every time they harassed was to call the police. We have police records. One of their evidence was my calling to the police. That was my police report that they had filed as their evidence. Yeah, it's just an ongoing thing. I saw their evidence that they had provided. They're all irrelevant. I don't understand how me parking in my parking spot is an evidence as harassment. I mean, I'm in my parking spot. The neighbor is half into my parking spot. I don't understand how that's relevant to our harassment case.
Which apartment complex are we talking about?
Evergreen.
So that's the second time someone's gotten up and walked out of that room. I can't believe the judge is noticing that. Not going to call them out on that. Just getting up and walking out in the middle of the trial. So I don't know. Let's see if he calls them out on it.
Vistas.
That's right over here.
Yes. He also provided like the parking permits. I've been there before him and I have my parking permit papers that's my parking spot with my parking number
How long have you lived there?
since 2021,
How long have they lived there?
a year after, I think.
So they've been there maybe around since 2022.
Yeah.
So
something like
you've
that.
been neighbors there for approximately maybe 2 years?
Yeah.
Okay. How long have the problems been going on?
Ending of that year, 2022, when they moved in,
Mhm.
ever since then.
Okay. Now, and you've used words in your petition, you use the same words that they've harassed you. Okay. You said that to me a minute ago. You wrote it in your petition too. Other than saying they harassed you, tell me what it is they did or said that in your mind makes it harassment.
So like the words that they say, the name calling, the vulgar language, and then I also submitted the picture of her with the baseball bat. I don't know if you saw that. We were all walking in. They live literally right across our apartment.
Yeah, you have submitted evidence that I guess it's not organized and it just is
Yeah,
labeled.
it was
things like
organized on my
evidence.
flash drive, but I guess when they input it in, it was all.
Well, there are numbers next to them though. So there's like evidence 70, evidence 7, evidence 67, like that. Which one of those is the picture of her with the baseball bat?
I have no idea. They just told me to format it 1 to whatever number it was, and that's the way it was on. I have the flash drive right now, but that's how it is on the flash drive.
That's clearly not it.
I think the pictures are the first ones, if I'm not mistaken.
Okay, so in your estimation and what you've told me is that the harassment comes in the form of name calling and vulgar language. Right? Anything else?
It's normal harassing, like the way they.
What about the parking?
I don't understand why he would even take a picture of my
But
car.
is the parking situation like a source of the conflict between
No, that's
you?
what I'm saying. Like he provided evidence of me
Mhm.
parking in my parking spot. That's irrelevant to the harassment.
Okay,
I don't understand why that's even needed in there.
okay. Then fair enough. I just wanted to make sure I didn't hear you say something you didn't actually say. So you just clarified that
Yeah.
for me. Okay, understood. All right, is there anything else you want to tell me about this before I hear from them and hear their side?
There was a video he recorded when he was sitting in his vehicle.
I saw that.
So prior to that, I had called the police. We were up at the office. We have my kids go to Awanas. It's like a church club thingy. So every Wednesdays they have like dinner there. So we were up there. Prior to that was the incident with the baseball bat. I had called the police. I met Officer Hubner, and I forgot how to pronounce the other officer's name, up there at the office. He came up and I was talking to his mom. The mom was leaving. This is the first time I've ever talked to the mom in person, Kyle's mom. When she was leaving, he banged on her car, and I had my old phone with the other messages, my phone broke. And that's when she said that Kyle told me to F off and I could die because she was talking to us. And then Officer Hubner was talking to us. We went down to our home. They followed us, just to escort us back to our home because they were outside. So when they came down, she started screaming from her windows and her dogs were barking. So Officer Hubner told her to control her dogs. And then we were down in the video. You'll see that we're down at the end. That's my apartment. We're in front of my apartment in that video where he's recording me talking to a lady and a man. So that's my apartment. The officer told us to stay outside and he would stay in his apartment side. He ended up going around and going into his vehicle to record us because we were near his vehicle. But in the vehicle, when he was recording, you'll see a phone that's recording us or facing my niece's window.
Can you tell me more about the baseball bat incident?
So we were walking in. So I live here. They live on the bottom floor as well, across us. So we were walking in. She's holding the baseball bat, and we were first. She was behind us, and she told my 9-year-old son at the time that if he doesn't walk faster, he's gonna hit him. She's gonna hit him with the baseball bat. So I turned around and I told her, "I dare you try." That's when I took the picture of her with the baseball bat.
I understand.
There's a police report too with that one, but we couldn't add in any more, evidence.
Okay. Anything else you need to tell me?
Everything that they provided is just irrelevant
I'll
evidence.
hear from them and then decide that. Okay.
No, I'm done.
Okay. Then Ms. Frisbee and Mr. Burke, I'll let you go now. You can decide between yourselves who's going to go first.
I will be discussing everything with you, Your Honor. So we actually only ever been here since April 2nd of 2023, exactly 1 month before my daughter was to be due. This actually, we were okay.
Hold on a second.
Ms.
Burke, hold on a second. I can't hear you.
Ms. Frisbee, Your Honor.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
That would be my daughter. Give me 1 moment, please. Alrighty. Sorry about that. So her timeline is wrong. We've only been here since April 2nd of 2023. I was about 1 month before my due date with my daughter. Also, we were all cordial and everything. I don't know what happened. We really didn't talk to them much. We don't have their phone numbers. We don't have anything. We wave and all that. Then all of a sudden they start getting aggressive with us. And as you see with our evidence, they have withheld us from our own apartment. They withheld us from our vehicle. And I'm going to actually go back to the vehicle here in a minute. But everything kind of broke down a few months after we both had our daughters. And really, I'm tired of all the police calls she has made. The OPD report that we submitted was during a time my husband was in the hospital, and she all of a sudden calls saying that she's being harassed. If you read the police report, my husband was in the hospital the entire time this supposed harassment happened. She has made false calls several times for no reason. Also, on the date that we had the baseball bat was the day before or day after the one, is because I marked the dates on our evidence. Day of the baseball bat is the same day that her boyfriend at the time pulled a gun from the vehicle, as the picture stated, when I pulled in from picking up my daughter from her, I believe either the few days or a few weeks before Head Start ended. So I left and went back to my husband's work for the last few hours. So we were playing baseball with the dogs and all of that at his work because his job's slow at times. That same day is with the baseball incident, not anything with the Owanas or any of that. So, and yes, we did have the police come over and we explained to them, my card is full and you can see in the picture, I'm walking into my apartment. They are nowhere near. I never even talked to their children. I had my 3-year-old daughter and my pretty much, I think about a couple of months, it was a year-old daughter. My card's full. So where am I going to place it? So I'm walking into my apartment. So we explain this to the police. They tell us, okay, you guys were good. No problems. They leave. The incident she's talking about at the Holanas is the day before, June 12th. And no, he did not bang on his mother's car. He just wanted to talk to them because we were starting to slowly become into contact with her. We were no contact with her due to potty training issues with my oldest. So just to show that it's not us harassing her, it is her harassing. But with the car incident, it shows that he's readjusting the camera is towards the sidewalk. We've had people slash our tires, and we had just recently had one of our radiator hoses and our hood jimmied and cut. So there are reasons why we have that camera up, and it was not pointed to their nieces or whoever it is window. It's literally across the sidewalk that is against the buildings, but no windows are in view. That video is showing how disrespectful they are by not getting off of the vehicle. They were leaning and all of that. And with the parking thing, they legally have no parking spot. We're all assigned a parking spot. And you have to have a
not concerned about the parking. Maybe I should hear from Mr. Burke.
Sure thing.
Yeah,
Yes,
Mr. Burke, what do you want to add to that?
So from what I'm seeing from the text messages that I've read between her and my mother, all this actually seemed to get out of hand when I took my new job as a credit manager at Rent-A-Center, where I did not know at the time, were customers. I work all the way in Yale. I work a long ways away from here. And I've had to help other stores. But to me, all of this, them accusing us, I've looked at the evidence that they put in, Your Honor. They have a video of me walking my dog and texting my boss. Me sitting in my truck. How am I harassing anybody when I'm usually at work from like 6 in the morning till 7 at night? I'm gone. I'm only got 2 days off a week, and I'm usually not even home on those days off.
And you told me at the beginning that you have somebody else here as a witness who you want to testify for you.
Yes, my mother. She actually has a state. We put in her statement too. She actually wrote a statement.
And that's, am I going to find that in the file?
It should be in the evidence, yes.
It's under Tammy's statement.
Oh, okay. It is Tammy the person you're talking about?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Yes, I do have that. Is Tammy there with you?
She's actually on Zoom in the holding area.
Did you let somebody in named Tammy? Oh, is Tammy the Motorola phone? Motorola?
I believe so, yes.
Yeah,
I do
if
believe
that's,
so.
can you unmute yourself?
She's not very technical sound, just to let you know.
Okay. Well, I do have her written statement here, so it's not necessary for her to just repeat what she's already submitted in writing.
Did I do
All
it
right,
right?
are you Tammy?
Yes.
Okay. Mr. Burke and Ms. Frisbee want you to testify for them in this case. So before you do that, I'm gonna have you raise your right hand, please.
Okay.
Do you swear the testimony you give in this matter will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth.
Yes.
Okay. And I do have a written statement here from you that was submitted by Ms. Frisbee and Mr. Burke. What else would you like to tell me?
My son and I were having a lot of problems. Some people were saying things to upset me, but everything's fine now. And they are, Renee and Kyle are always fighting. She's threatening him all the time and making problems. They're not even there. They're gone from 7 o'clock in the morning till 7 o'clock at night. And her, I want to say husband, wasn't husband, their boyfriend did threaten Kyle with a gun. Are you still there?
That's somebody you're
sorry.
talking about called, you said in your statement, that's somebody called Brandon who did that?
Yes, sir.
Okay, yeah, I
At the
see
time,
that.
that was the guy that was living there with her.
Okay. All right. Anything else?
I don't think so.
Okay. All right. Ms. Frisbee, Mr. Burke, do you have any other witnesses who you want to have testify?
No, that is everyone.
Okay, thank you. Thank you. All right, well, I've heard what everybody here has had to say about this situation, and I've also read the declarations and statements that everybody has filed, looked at the pictures and the videos that have been filed too, on both sides. And my ruling is this, none of this meets the definition of harassment, and there will be no order issued. There's clearly a neighbor conflict going on here, but this is not anything that the court can regulate. I certainly don't have the ability to make decisions about who can park where in an apartment complex. You're going to have to address issues like that to your property management.
So if they, after today, if they harass again, can I refile?
I'm not going to be able to give you any legal advice about when you could or should file a case like that. Right. So I do not find by a preponderance of the evidence that any harassment has occurred.
Are you putting up cameras?
The temporary order that was previously issued in this case terminates as of this moment.
Okay, all right, I'll go ahead and say it. The snarky ass smile on this woman's face, if I was the judge, I'd go ahead and give it to the other folks. I'd go ahead and give that lady a restraining order and see how quick she could end up in jail. She's done nothing but disrespect the judge, disrespect the court, and I can't help but believe she's a damn terror to her neighbors. So that imagine having the screaming kid in court, and imagine bringing that dog into court, and them getting up and leaving like they were and just doing whatever they want to do. I got a feeling that that's how they live their life. So, all right, we're going to go to Fozzie was requesting a Judge Boyd one. So let's go to Judge Boyd. We got one of those. Let's go.
The same Antonio Ernesto Alvarado, who was placed on deferred adjudication in 2019 CR 7587 for the offense of burglary of a habitation with intent to commit assault on January 16, 2020 for a term of 4 years. Is that you?
Yes, ma'am.
State?
In Bexar County, Texas, the defendant, Antonio Ernesto Alvarado, did then and there fail to report to the supervision officer as directed for the months of December 2020 and January 2021 in violation of condition number 5.
How do you plead to that? True or not true?
True.
State?
Your Honor, we waive the rest of the.
Any objections to the state's waivers?
No objections, Your Honor.
Did you understand by pleading true to violation of condition number 5, the court could find it true, grant the motion, find you guilty, and sentence you up to 20 years in prison and up to a $10,000 fine?
Yes.
Knowing that, do you still wish to plead true to violation of condition number 5?
What did you report? I did.
Now, here's the thing.
Yes. Okay.
And counsel, I'm so sorry. I don't have a trial court certification of defendant's rights to appeal completed.
True. Yes, ma'am.
No.
I'm sorry.
Off the record. Could you get a trial court certification of defendant's rights to appeal? That's okay. And we're off the record. So let me explain something to you. This is how motions to revoke work. Somebody is on probation. The state in probation is stating that they didn't do, since you didn't report. Sometimes it's you're using drugs. Sometimes you're not doing classes that are ordered. Do you understand that? Now, sometimes people will plead true. Now, once you plead true to a violation, I have to let you know what the range of punishment is. So in your case, the range of punishment is up to 20 years in prison and up to a $10,000 fine. If you have some sort of an agreement with the state, that's an agreement that you and your attorney have decided to enter into, but the court does not have to, because you do not have a contract with the state. You do not have a contract with your attorney. You have a contract with the court. Now, sometimes people will plead true. Maybe they'll plead true to not reporting. They'll say, all right, it's true, but I have an explanation. I have a reason why I didn't report. Somebody may say, I didn't report. I was in a coma at the hospital. And they bring documentation that they were in the coma at the hospital. Does that mean that it's not true? No, it's true. They didn't report. They just have a reason for not reporting. Do you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
And do you understand if you've reached an agreement with the state, I don't have to follow that agreement. Do you understand?
No.
So I could sentence you up to 20 years in prison. Do you understand?
No.
All right, we're going to go back on the record. So, Mr. Alvarado, you entered a plea of true to violation of condition number 5. Is that correct? No, listen to me. You entered a plea of true to violation of condition number 5. Is that correct? Yes or no?
Yes.
All right. Did you understand by pleading true to violation of condition number 5, I can revoke you, find you guilty, and send you to prison for up to 20 years? Did you understand? And did you understand that I can sentence you also up to a $10,000 fine? All right, you need to stop whispering. You need to speak up so that the court reporter can hear.
Yes, ma'am.
All right, do you understand all of that?
Yes, ma'am.
Knowing that, do you still wish to plead true to violation of condition number 5?
Yes, ma'am.
Court will find violation of condition number 5 true. Is there a proposed agreement?
There is not, Your Honor.
All right, state, what are you requesting?
Your Honor, we are asking that his probation be revoked.
All right, defense, what are you requesting?
Judge, we're asking that you extend his probation for a year, let him complete the programs that he needs to do, family violence and the other program on parenting class. He has a place to live. He failed to report. I told him he needs to report in the future and follow your rules. He said he'll do that.
All right, so here's the question. Why is he not reporting? I
don't think he has a reason.
All right, is there something you want to tell me?
During this
Wait
time,
a second. You want to raise your right hand? Do you solemnly swear or affirm the testimony you give will be the truth and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
yes, ma'am.
All right, you can lower your hand, state your name for the record.
My name is Antonio Alvarado.
All right, why were you not reporting?
To be honest, ma'am, I mean, I had caught COVID. It was during 2020. I caught COVID. Not only that, but after that,
So you're saying,
Let's say
let me,
that-
wait, so you're saying in June 2020, you caught COVID?
Yes,
All right, so how long did COVID last for you?
didn't last that long. It lasted only a couple of weeks.
All
Yes,
right,
ma'am.
so that's June 2020, you caught COVID. So July, did you report to
No,
probation?
ma'am.
August,
No, ma'am.
September,
No, ma'am.
October,
No, ma'am.
November,
No, ma'am.
December,
No, ma'am.
January.
No, ma'am.
Have you reported since 2020?
No, ma'am. I have not.
All right.
I have no excuse, ma'am. I'm sorry. I have no excuse. I just know that I've worked, I had my children and I had a lot of bills and everything that life had accumulated on me. I started working and I just put it on the back burner because I had child support to do. I had a career that I had a job that I figured was going to help me get out of my situation, and it didn't because the economy got worse. And then I figured, you know what, let me do this. Let me go into HVAC program so that way I can not only better myself, but better pay everything that I owe and try to get my license back. And I actually, and with me not reporting, I put this in the back burner, which I shouldn't have had. Whatever I
No,
shouldn't
I
have.
don't, here's my question for you. This is just a question I ask. You know, if you have an answer, great. If you don't, you don't.
Yes, ma'am.
Why do you think that you can be on probation and just forget about it?
That should not.
It's like, why do you think that's the case? That, okay, I know I committed a burglary of a habitation with an assault. That's what you did.
Yes, ma'am.
So a burglary of a habitation with intent to commit assault, that means that you're going into someone's home without permission and you are assaulting them.
Yes,
You're
ma'am.
beating them up.
Yes, ma'am.
So why do you think that you can be on probation for that, then not do what's required of you and just go on with living your life as though this does not exist and you don't owe the government, the Bexar County, the citizens of Bexar County, the completion of your probation?
Because that's what happened with my ex, and me and my ex have been trying to get back together at that time too.
Oh, so you and Maria Alvarado have been trying to get back together?
And at that time,
All right.
so I've been communicating.
So during this time, you all have been communicating while you've been on probation?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. And part of your conditions of probation?
And not communicate. Yes, ma'am. And I apologize about that.
No. You could communicate with her according to your conditions. I think it's no harmful or injurious contact. But yeah. All right. Any other questions?
I think hopefully he learned a lesson. He can move forward, follow your instructions.
Yes, ma'am.
All right. The court is going to grant the motion, find you guilty, and the court will revoke. State, how much time are you requesting?
We're requesting 4 years, Your Honor.
Defense, what are you requesting?
1 year, Your Honor.
2 to 10.
2 to 2.
Okay. Probation, has he done anything on probation? All right. So you've done nothing on probation.
No,
So the state honestly is being generous by asking for 4 years. What I can tell you is I would have given you 6, but the state is offering you 4. I'm going to go along with their request because maybe they have more contact. Well, I know they would have more contact with the complainant than I do. So the court is finding you guilty. The court is going to revoke. The court is going to sentence you to 6 years in the prison, give you credit for any time served. There's an affirmative finding of family violence. All right. Did you review the document entitled Trial Court Certification of Defendant's Rights to Appeal with your attorney? Did you understand it? All right. You have a limited right to appeal. That right to appeal is as it relates to the allegations in the motion, not the fact that you were on deferred adjudication. Because this is an affirmative finding of family violence, and also because this is a felony conviction, you're not allowed to own or possess any weapons or ammunition. If you have a question over what a weapon or ammunition is, you'll need to speak to an attorney. Do you understand?
yes, ma'am.
Yes. 4. You're welcome. All right, we can go off the record. When you have obligations, you got to answer for those obligations. You can't pretend as though they don't exist. You understand?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, good luck to you.
I approach, Your Honor.
All right, did he have a broken jaw?
Yes, Your Honor.
Oh, so where are we on the broken jaw?
Scheduled for surgery this Thursday. So I have 2 fractures, one hand,
Oh.
so just in time for Thanksgiving, they're gonna wire me shut.
Oh, see, here's the thing though. You won't be eating bad food for you.
You're gonna have turkey gravy.
There you go.
Yeah, so I had to release an employee, and as we walked out, he struck me from behind.
Oh.
So I filed a police report, and the detective, I mean, it's been almost a month now. And the detective just got back to me on Friday.
All right. Well, I'm sorry to hear that. That's a shame.
All right, we're gonna go to Judge Simpson doing a wedding today. It's about a 30-minute clip, but there's only 8 minutes of it that's really pertinent to it. So it's not too long. So if you already seen it, it'll probably be neat to see it again. If you didn't see it, it's good to see these types of things to realize that courts aren't just a lock them up type of place. You know, sometimes good things happen in court. I wanted to warn the guy to run, but I wasn't able to get to him in time. So let's see what we got on that.
Nice to meet you. We see you on the TV all the time. Right.
There we go. Uh-oh, I don't hear any sound with it. I don't think I have any sound with it. That's awesome. Good, problem solved, no sound with it, so we don't have to watch that. All right, let's see what else we got. Let's go Judge West. Judge West, we'll do Judge West. We got one there, and I don't think I got any sound with this one, so.
Can you state your name for the record?
Joseph Freeman.
And Mr. Freeman, you are the defendant in this case, correct?
Yes, sir.
And you have pled guilty to the offenses of the aggravated robbery, correct?
Yes, sir.
Now, the state has brought some evidence about a deadly conduct, a shooting that occurred a few months earlier. Do you recall that?
Yes, sir.
Okay. You want to tell the judge what happened in that case?
We was riding our bikes through the neighborhood, and a guy and my cousin or my friend, I can't remember which one it was, but they had an argument at the house earlier, and they saw each other. They started arguing. He pulled out a gun, and I began firing shots.
Okay. Now, who is your cousin?
My cousin's name is Kerry Kirkwood.
Okay, but who was with you when you were riding bikes?
It was me, JK, and Third.
Okay, who is JK?
JK is one of my friends.
Okay, was Kalon Johnson out there?
No, sir. He
Well,
was not with us.
Huh?
He was not with us. He was at the house.
Okay, but he was arrested that day out there, wasn't he?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And do you know why he was arrested?
I guess from being at the house.
Being at the house where the gunfire was?
Yes, sir.
So you're telling the court that you shot at the guy, I think his name was Palmer, because Palmer had a gun?
Yes, sir.
And he had gotten into a confrontation with your cousin?
Yes, sir.
Were you afraid that he might shoot you?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Let's talk about the aggravated robbery that you pled guilty to, right? Because you were out there at that time. When these people got their car stolen, right?
Yes, sir.
Who was with you that day?
Charles Verdine, and I can't remember the other guy's name. His name Red. I don't know his real name.
Okay, but y'all call him Red?
Yes, sir.
Okay, and who pulled the woman out of the car?
Charles Verdine.
Okay, he was the one that threatened to kill her?
Yes, sir.
Okay, and what did you do?
When I got in the car.
Okay, so you were there with him, right?
Yes, sir.
Did you have a gun that day?
No, sir.
All right. With regard to the
All right, I think I found it with sound. So let me see what I got here. Hold on.
What a sponsor. It's usually like people are
We're gonna give up on it. Whenever I check it on the back side, I've got sound, so I don't know what the hell.
The same Antonio Ernesto Alvarado, who was placed on deferred adjudication.
Can you state your name for the, regarding what she should do when she sentences you for these offenses?
I hope that she showed me mercy for the things that I have done.
What them?
I hope that you show me mercy for the things that I have done in the past.
How old are you?
I'm only 21.
How long have you been in jail?
2, almost 3 years.
I'll pass it.
Thank you, Ms. Malfino.
Good afternoon, Mr. Freeman. Okay, let's go back to the deadly conduct. You saying that David Palmer's lying?
I'm not saying that he lied. I'm saying that he had a gun that I fired back at him.
Did anybody ever say that he had a gun?
No, nobody ever said that.
Why'd you run? Why'd you run from Officer Ortega?
I was scared. I had fear. I have fear of the cops.
Why?
Because on Instagram and TikTok, they show cops killing people. I didn't want to be the next one dead.
Ran from the cops because you knew you'd done something wrong, didn't you?
No, that's why I stopped.
So we're supposed to take your word for it over Mr. Palmer. Yes or no? Are we supposed to take your word for it or Mr. Palmer's?
I guess mine because he's not here.
Okay. But we heard the officer testify about the gunshots in his vehicle. We see you run. And what do we see you with in your pocket? A loaded 9mm Taurus, right? What were you doing with it?
I had it for my protection. They had people that been shooting at my house and my auntie house.
So judge is supposed to believe that on the day of the deadly conduct, that you clearly can't deny it because she saw you on the screen with the Taurus in your pocket and the 2 mags in your back pocket, right? That you had a gun that day. Yes, but all these other times you didn't have a gun on you?
No, ma'am.
And you didn't know that criminal activity was going to be happening?
I knew that criminal activity was going to be happening, but I wasn't expecting for them to do it while I was around.
So you knew what you guys were doing. Y'all were just running as a little group of thugs, right? All over the south end of Beaumont, doing whatever you want with loaded firearms in your pockets, shooting at people, holding people up, and eventually murdering people, right? All when you're 19 years old, 18, 19 years old, right?
Yes, ma'am.
How many people are out there at the jail with you right now? They're in the same kind of predicament. Your age, young, violent offenders who repeatedly terrorize Beaumont. How many? A lot, right? Yeah.
Yes, ma'am.
You know some of them from the street, don't you?
A lot of them I don't know.
Because this is a game you'll play, right?
It's not a game.
But you want this judge to believe your word over that of Mr. Palmer, who said you shot at him, and then he identified you when the police brought you back there after you went in from him with the gun in your pocket, right? You want her to believe you over Mr. Palmer, right?
Yes, ma'am.
You want her to believe you over Ms. Flores and Mr. Ortega, who both identify you in a lineup as being involved in the aggravated robbery, carjacking of them. What happened that night? You telling me that the fingerprint where she says she got pulled out by her hair of the backseat of the car at gunpoint, that's yours, that's consistent with her saying, I was so scared to death, I went from the front seat to the back seat. And it was Charles Birding who did it? Or was it you who did it?
It was Charles Birding. I got in the back seat of the car. That's how my fingerprint got there.
Why? Was that your car?
No, ma'am.
So y'all would steal the car too, huh?
I just wanted to ride home.
To where? Home where?
to my pop's house on Merrily Lane in the West End.
You ever stay at 4395 Avenue A?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So you just wanted to ride home, so you're gonna steal those poor people's car at gunpoint, and you're telling me that you're a young man, able-bodied, even younger at the time, in good shape, can't walk from Saks to Avenue A to lay your head down? Are you
I want
serious?
to go to my pop's house in the West End.
Could you have walked to the West End too?
That's a far walk.
So let's just steal a car instead and carjack people at gunpoint? Because you want to go to your pop's house? Does that make any sense, Joseph?
No, ma'am.
It doesn't make any sense. So we're not supposed to believe Mr. Palmer, we're not supposed to believe Miss Flores, we're not supposed to believe Mr. Arcadia. Poor Joseph just happens to always be in the wrong place at the wrong time, and you never know what all your running buddies who you've been running with for years with weapons in your pockets are gonna do you? You're just oblivious to what Ronald, Charles, and Kaylon do.
I ain't know Ronald.
You know,
just met him.
You knew Kaylon.
Yeah.
We see you on the video with Kaylon at the time of the homicide, and we see you on the evading video and the show up to David Palmer with who? Also there in handcuffs, Kaylon. And you're telling this judge, you really want her to give you mercy and you're gonna sit there and lie to her face?
I know Kayla, I don't know Ronald about nothing.
So you didn't know what was gonna happen that day? Y'all were gonna go jack with Richard Chalo, right?
We went to go buy drugs.
You went to go buy drugs, but you don't do.
And he pulled the gun out on us. When I got shot, I got out the car and ran for my life.
So are you saying that when you got out of the car, of his car?
I ran away from him
Why didn't you call the police and tell them somebody had just shot you?
because I was scared. They told me not to call the police.
Who?
Charles and Kayla.
You knew you were going there to do a dope trip, didn't you?
No, I did.
You were going there to buy drugs. So were you going there to commit a crime? Is buying drugs illegal?
Yes, ma'am.
So you're going there to commit a crime and somebody ends up dead, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Tell me how you're not involved as a party to that homicide and that engaging in criminal activities of narcotics. How? Is that you on the video in the red and black thing?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, it is, isn't it? You never admitted that to the cops. The first time you admitted that is right now, right?
Yeah, I admitted it to my lawyer too.
Well, I'm not privy to your conversations with your lawyer, no, I want to be. I'm asking you, is that you on the video?
Yes, ma'am.
But you've never told the truth about that to anybody other than your lawyer until today, have you?
I haven't.
When Detective Freeman came, Detective Hamilton came to talk to you, Mr. Freeman, what'd you say? And it's your constitutional right, I was my lawyer, I'm not saying anything, right?
Yes, ma'am.
So did you have your opportunity way back in November of 2023 to give your version of events?
Yes, ma'am.
Did you?
No, ma'am.
But now you want Judge to believe what you have to say today when she's got 2 first-degree felonies over your head. You want her to believe you today?
Yes, ma'am.
What were you doing up in Denton running around?
I was out there working, fixing cars and stuff
Why didn't you stop for the police?
because I was scared. My uncle told me to keep driving.
So it's always somebody else's fault, right, Judge?
He told me to keep driving. That's what I did. I was just following the orders.
Just like you were following orders to go and attempt to rob and then kill Richard Shiloh, right? Let's go rip this dealer of some weed, right?
Wasn't planning to go rob.
All over the South End with guns, weed, running from the cops. Why? If you're not doing anything wrong, why are you behaving that way?
I don't know.
You're involved in all of it, aren't you? And you knew exactly what was going on, didn't you?
No, ma'am, I ain't know.
And you've proven to Judge while you've been in custody, waiting for this day to come before you, exactly who you are, right? And what you do when somebody is telling you what to do, like a jailer, how to behave. How many write-ups have you had?
Probably 20 something.
And judge has them in front of her. She sees them all. What are you being written up for? And why can't you behave when you're in there?
Because some officers just don't like me for the crowd that's above my head.
So again, it's always somebody else's fault. It's David Palmer's fault. It's Ms. Flores' fault. It's Ms. Ortega's fault. Mr. Ortega's fault. It's Richard Shallow's fault. It's the jailer's fault. None of it's Joseph Freeman's fault, right?
It's for some of the stuff I did too.
You're out there being disrespectful. You're fighting. You're acting like the same thug that wants to run around the south end of Beaumont with loaded weapons and commit crimes that just keep going like this. You're probably too young to know that show Price is Right, where that little guy keeps going up the mountain. This is you, Joseph Freeman. Let's not start off with, stealing some bubble gum from the 7-Eleven. Let's just start off as soon as you're an adult. Deadly conduct. You could have killed David Palmer, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Let's run from the cops. They could have shot you. You're so scared of cops. They didn't. Did they act professionally? You saw Officer Ortega after she had to chase you north, south, and west, all over the South. Because you knew you had done wrong by shooting at David Palmer, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Kaylon's out there too, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Is that just a coincidence that it's you and Kaylon on that video?
No,
Killing
ma'am.
Richard Shallow? Is it just a coincidence y'all happen to be at the same place on those particular 2 days?
No, ma'am.
Okay. But you want Judge to give you leniency and mercy, don't you?
Yes, ma'am.
Don't you think that happened up in Denton? Somehow? When some prosecutor up there decided to offer you 3 years deferred after you had done all this, maybe they just didn't know about it. Bet you if they knew about it, you wouldn't be on deferred probation. You got a motion to revoke up there?
No, ma'am. I got it before I came here.
You got a motion to revoke?
No, I had got probation before I came here.
So technically, if you haven't been revoked off that probation, you're acting in that fashion out in the jail while you're on probation. What is one of your rules of probation? To be courteous to others, to follow the rules. You can't follow the rules when you're inside, much less outside. Right, Joseph? You can't
follow the rules.
You can't?
Yes,
Is that
ma'am.
what you've shown us with all this evidence that you can follow the rules? Do you need to be back out in Beaumont?
Yes, ma'am.
You do. So that someone else can be terrorized by you?
No, ma'am.
That's an issue.
There's something that I want cleared up, and I don't know if we'll get it cleared up, with regard to Mr. Freeman after the murder, not before, but after on the video with a possible weapon. Where'd that come from?
He had it in the car.
Who did?
Richard Shallow. That's the weapon that he pulled out on me.
But you ran with it, right?
No.
You ran with it, right?
Yes, ma'am.
You never told the cops what happened, right?
Yes,
You still haven't told the truth of what happened. It's just, we're just is always in the wrong place, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you, Ms. Malfino. Anything else, Mr. Radford?
Just a quick question to Mr. Freeman. The long gun that's on that video, was that the gun that Richard shot you with?
Yes, sir.
Okay. You didn't go there with a gun, did you?
No, sir.
Trying to recall. You can have a seat.
That's all I have, Judge.
Mr. Coleman, I see, is here, and Mike can help. I'm trying to recall from the murder case, the casings that were found in Mr. Shallow's car. Were there 2 different guns worth of casings, or was it, do you even recall? And it's not that important, honestly. I was just something that's
I don't want to misstate.
Yeah, I can't remember. Okay, that's all right. Thank you, Mr. Coleman. Then, Mr. Radford, you may make argument.
Judge, I'm going to be brief because you are going to do what you do, and that's how judges do. I just wanted to remind or ask the court to think about the sentences that all these other people got. I would submit to the court that Charles Verdine and Kalen Johnson were involved in all this other stuff too, because it looks like they were all running around together. My client got involved with the wrong group of people. There's no doubt about that. He's admitted to committing these robberies. And I would ask the court just to consider the punishments that these other guys have gotten in their cases, and acknowledge that Mr. Freeman has pled guilty. That's all I have.
Thank you. Ms. Malfino or Mr. Coleman?
Well, yeah, have you talked about that yet? We didn't talk about that, please. You did? Your Honor, I'll refer to State's Exhibit number 2 here, this map from the court's information. It shows this layout of where the defendant at one point lived on Avenue A, and where the shooting occurred, and where the evading on foot occurred, and where the ultimately on Virginia Street, where Richard Shiloh was murdered. You know, I submitted to the court that this is within, if I can approach, within a 1 mile radius in this neighborhood, this particular neighborhood, a neighborhood where people in our community just want to live, work, raise their families, and you know, just have some sort of peace. Hardworking people who don't live behind in a gated community, who are just doing the best they can. Having grown up in a neighborhood like that myself, I understand, Judge, that it is the 2%, 3% of the people who live in that neighborhood that terrorize the people in that neighborhood. And this defendant, Joseph Freeman, is that 2 or 3% of the people. He, again, within a 1 mile radius, is out terrorizing and using firearms and acts of violence, with at least on one other occasion, the same individual that he committed ultimately this felony murder as a party involving Richard Shiloh. And you've got all the information you need. You've seen the other trials. You've heard the evidence in those other cases. You got a lookout. You got them casing that situation there. You got them subsequently acting after that shooting as if it was par for the course, just run the mill, something that just happened as a part of doing business, Your Honor. One thing I will distinguish between this defendant and the other co-defendants, and the point is taken from Mr. Radford, but I think it's not applicable here, is that unlike the other defendants, they weren't on probation for aggravated robbery. This defendant was on probation for aggravated robbery.
No. He pled guilty to the aggravated robberies.
He had committed an aggravated robbery.
Correct.
And unlike those other 2 defendants, I think that merits a higher punishment than what the other defendants got, Your Honor. And with that being said, I think the court has everything it needs, all of the evidence that it needs. Judge, this is one of those cases, and you've seen it time and time again. Nothing less than 50 years, Judge, is what this defendant deserves. Thank you.
The co-defendant okay, I want to make sure, Mr. Freeman, part of the reason I wanted to look back and see what I did is because I honestly feel like all 4 of you co-defendants in the murder, in my opinion, got off too easy. One of them was an agreement, and I understand why that agreement was reached. Came up first, was honest very quickly, and did what he needed to do to take care of his business. Didn't have other criminal history that I can recall, and that's Kalen. Now, it sounds like he was obviously involved in a lot of other stuff that, and really until today, I don't know that everybody knew about. And today you've decided to give us some more information, because in your pre-sentence report, with regard to the 2 ag robberies that you're here for today, you specifically said your version to the pre-sentence report officer was that you were with your cousin and saw a couple of people sit in a car, and your cousin ran up and took the car at gunpoint. You were there, didn't know he was going to do it, but it was wrong. So you're mentioning one person, a cousin.
Yes, ma'am.
And that's not true, is it?
It's true. I mentioned his friend because I forgot he was there.
Because you're doing so many bad things, you can't remember who you do them with.
No.
Yeah, it is. That's exactly true. I sat up here today and I did a chart. I did a timeline because it's hard for me when there's so many things going on that someone's doing bad, that to keep up with all of it and to really get an understanding of it. At 18 years old, October of 21, you're arrested that day for the deadly conduct. You make a bond in that case, and then you just decide, got away with that. I'm out on bond. Let me go do all this other stuff. Let me go drag a girl out of a car at gunpoint, steal it with my friends or cousin or whoever. Let me go be involved in the murder or whatever it was going to be of Richard Shallow. I don't think y'all probably went there to murder him, but I think y'all went there to do more than just buy drugs. He's a drug dealer. Everybody knew that. It came out in that other trial. He is not going to, in most cases, your drug dealer is not going to do something to harm his business. He wants to keep selling drugs. So y'all had the gun, in my opinion. Y'all were trying to take the drugs and not have to pay for them. And he had a gun because he's a drug dealer to protect himself and tried to shoot at y'all. And y'all shot back. And that's what happens in drug deals when you go to steal drugs from a drug dealer. But you're not afraid of having a gun and shooting at people. I don't know who had the gun in these two ag robberies, but y'all get the car, you get away. You have the car, the people are out of their car, and you still shoot at them. You could have just killed those two innocent people. You've already got their gun, you've already got the car. We're lucky you're not here on a murder of Mr. Palmer, that you're not here on a murder of Ms. Flores, that you're not here on a murder of Mr. Ortega. Who knows what else? Because typically when someone gets caught, usually they've already done a bunch of stuff that they didn't get caught for. All the shootings that are going on that are not solved in that small area of town, I'm betting that at least for some amount of time, they've slowed down because you have been in jail. And Charles Verdine's been in jail, and Kaylin Johnson and Ronald Babineau, because you're a menace to our community. I got the letters and I read the letters, and I understand that your family loves you and they should love you, your family. But a couple of things that stuck out to me that are just showing the denial of the lifestyle that you were living, that they had to have known someone about. You weren't just home hanging out. You were on the streets hanging out. Your mom says, my son's a good kid. He got caught up with a bad crowd. And that's come up. How many times have you said, well, I was hanging out with the wrong people. I really wasn't doing that. I was hanging out with the wrong people. You are the wrong person. You are the bad crowd. I mean, clearly, he's a good role model for his younger siblings. I can't even grasp that. A good role model, shooting in a deadly conduct at 18 years old, committing 2 aggravated robberies later, still 18 years old, hadn't even turned 19 years old yet, and a murder 8 days after that. Then you take off and you're running from the cops in Denton County. In my opinion, you're running from the cops because you know you probably have 4 felony warrants for your arrest, not because somebody just told you to run from the cops. Anyway, all that being said, the only thing I can do, in my opinion, is to try to make sure that everyone in our community is protected for as long as possible, that I think is reasonable considering the cases, the sentences in the other case. But your history and what you did, in my opinion, rises to a whole nother level. So in cause number 22-39679, find sufficient evidence to find you guilty, and at this time find you guilty of aggravated robbery. sentence you to a term of 60 years in the institutional division of the Texas Department of Corrections. You will receive credit on that sentence for any time that you've been in custody that the law gives you the right to receive. There will be an affirmative finding of a deadly weapon in that case. Cause number 22-40981, find sufficient evidence to find you guilty, and at this time find you guilty of aggravated robbery. Sentence you to a term of 60 years in the institutional division of the Texas Department of Corrections. You will also receive credit on that sentence for any time that you've been in custody that the law gives you the right to receive. These cases will run concurrently, which means together at the same time. I'm going to hand you the trial court certification in each of these cases. These were not agreements. You do have some rights to appeal. You can talk to Mr. Radford about that. I'm also handing you a written admonishment regarding your ineligibility to possess a firearm or ammunition. This is important because you're young and you will make parole at some time. And hopefully you will not get out and continue doing the same things. But because of these judgments, you are not allowed to have a firearm or ammunition in the state of Texas. Possession of a firearm or ammunition could lead to more charges, felony charges against you. Firearm's a legal term. Read that admonishment to see what devices qualify as a firearm. If you have any questions about the laws that make you ineligible to possess a firearm or ammunition, or about how long that lasts, you can talk to Mr. Radford. All right, he'll hand those to you. Anything else, Mr. Coleman, Ms. Malfino?
No.
Anything else, Mr. Radford?
Amen.
All right, so we still obviously have the deadly conduct case and the murder case pending. Mr. Coleman and Mr. Radford, if y'all want to discuss any options on those, at this time, what I'll do is just set those two cases now for review. I need them taken care of, I guess, one way or the other before too long. Obviously, we can wait and see what happens on these for some amount of time as well. All right, court's adjourned.
All right, everybody. That picture Fozzie sent me. He took of the Galveston Bay. Just beautiful, beautiful picture. Let me see if I can move my head out of the way to show that. Look how pretty that is, everybody. We're gonna go ahead and call it a night. It's been a night. It's been a long day. Thank you, everybody, for coming out today. And absolutely, Michael, you are absolutely right. Y'all check out the beautiful picture, and we will see you guys tomorrow night. Thank you, Fozzie, for the picture to send us out.